So to connect it to that, well, I guess it's not connected because it's going to be separate. Are we going to have a new moon, new sun?
Well, I want to look at the whole solar flash, solar event. I mean, my intuition told me what was coming had something to do with the sun, and I've had this for about over 20 years. I want to just look generally. Does this event have something to do with the sun? First, a general look. Look at that. And, that's interesting that this popped out.
This popped out.
2 orbs being juggled, being flipped. That's exactly what I'm talking about with this Rahu suddenly going to switch on, and Helios is going to turn into a black orb or something. I don't know why. I just got this feeling like there's some truth in that. All right, stop shuffling. I don't know. Yeah, when that 2 of Pentacles popped up. Cut. This is the second time. This is the sun.
Yeah.
Okay. Currently, this is currently the sun. For some reason, it's popped up both times in that position, and it's right about the flip, man. It's at the end of its life cycle. This has all been leading up to it. The sun is not happy about this, by the way. The sun likes being in charge. The sun likes having its power. It doesn't want to change its polarity. Might be so it's something blocking it from happening anytime soon. So it's not going to happen in the next few months, though. It's going to be more like the end of the year, and it's a celestial event. 2 5s. We got 2 5s here. It's interesting.
I'm wondering
also
that. Scott, have you heard about some countries making fake suns, like China and Germany?
China.
I wonder if that's connected to this.
So that's where we're getting a lot of the same cards here. Get this Ace of Swords again. That's 1 year for me, I think.
Sun, Earth.
Okay, the moon that we see in our night sky is not really there. Okay, so so I don't think that it's the one that we're talking about. I think when we say, I think the one that's connected to our sun is Rahu. That's the original one.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that there are ancient people or ancient records of, they said that there was a time they remember when there was no moon.
And they said during that time, they said the seasons were calmer and they had more abilities. And then when that new vehicle came in, they didn't live as long, and they didn't have as much power as they used to.
Now, do you remember the question you asked me when I said there was a time when there was no moon? What did you say?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. I don't remember.
About the sun is the positive.
Yep, and the moon is the negative.
And so you can't have a system like that without a negative. And this is the epiphany I had today. Well, that's because that moon isn't really the negative moon that interacts with the sun. It's it's Rahu. That is the real dual system. It's the sun and Rahu, not the sun and Luna. Luna's not even there. It's an image that's being projected into our atmosphere.
So how about this? Let's let's ask it from the point of view of a normie. So not what we see it as, because when the event happens, it's really for them. It's not for us. It's really for them. So
well, I wouldn't be so sure about that, man. I mean, I don't feel like I've got it all figured out. I think that you and I are going to be just as shocked and surprised by what comes as everybody else.
yeah, but
I
all right.
mean,
So we listened to Linda Paris, and she was talking about how it's going to make even us like crap our pants, right? So
and
I'm
I
like,
mean that's but
that's going to be tough. Like I'm wondering what, unless they have a super machine that makes you crap your pants, I can't imagine something that's going to make me crap my pants, because
that's
my brain is
because
so yeah,
you can't imagine it.
yeah,
Okay, you can't imagine it.
yeah,
It's like trying to imagine the fourth dimension. You can't until you've experienced it. You can't, and that's what I'm counting on. I mean, I don't want I don't want the great
yeah,
awakening. Oh yeah, all right. This is exactly what I expect. No, I want it to be like, whoa, okay. Kind of like
yeah,
I've never done it, but like doing DMT. Like
yeah.
unless you've done DMT, you can't explain that experience. But I haven't done DMT, but I've done a lot of other psychedelics, and you really cannot explain to somebody what it's like
Yeah.
to have an experience like that.
But I mean, but see, what's hard for me to grasp is we're the people watch this and truthers and we're aware. It's hard for me to, if I look out my window and all of a sudden, like from Ghostbusters, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man pops through the earth and starts walking around, I'll be shocked, but it's not
No,
going to blow my
because
mind. I'm going to be like, oh,
it's something like
yeah,
you're going to get a DNA upgrade,
yeah,
which is going to open up senses that you didn't even know you had. You're going to see colors that you never could see before.
yeah.
Things
All
like
right.
that. You're going to be able to see entities that you couldn't see before who've been there all along. Things like that. That's it. Will that
Yeah,
blow your mind, Dan?
yeah. It'll blow my. I don't know if I'm going to crap my pants,
By the way,
but
did you watch that David Wilcock video I sent you?
yeah, I watched some of it. There's
I should have
so
told
much
you where to
info
start.
now.
There, I know it's like 2.5 hours. You should start at 50 minutes. Where
Right.
and that this remember when I was telling you about how photons are able to carry information, genetic information.
Yep.
So that this thing with the sun, when we get this new sun,
Yep.
it's going to give us maybe DNA that was blocked before by the Anunnaki or whatever.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm convinced, and I don't believe everything that David Wilcock says, but I'm convinced that there's truth. It resonates with me that there's going to be some type of upgrade, or we're going to level up, and it has something to do with light,
Mm-hmm.
photons, and DNA. I'm sure of that.
So
Anyways, did we have a question in here somewhere?
yeah.
Anyway,
Well, can you just ask about the event
yeah,
then? Right. And we'll see what cards show up.
I'm going to ask about the. Okay, I'm going to put it this way. What is the relationship between the sun, Rahu, and the moon? The moon that we know, Luna,
Yeah.
and the earth. So it's four things there. Ah, my goodness. That caused my cards to just explode just by thinking about this.
Uh,
See? Cards don't like this. We'll give it a try anyway. This is just for fun anyway. I always get befuddled when I try to do these big celestial reads like this.
well, you got the right mat there for it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow. The moon. Aha. the moon. Okay, this is Luna. It's a strategic. It's used strategically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We got
that
that
makes perfect
before.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so for, all right. I think the cards are telling us, hey, I'm talking about Luna right now. And originally, it was brought here as a strategic weapon to to control men's thoughts.
Hmm.
Just like David Icke said.
Yep.
Oh, look at that. Most
Just swords and
uh,
swords and swords.
yeah. But the those four kings, those four entities, they have control of the moon now, and they turned it off. They turned off. They're blocking the moon's ability to do that. And so this might be why a lot of people are waking up these days. It's like they've retuned it. I've never noticed that before. Do you see there's the moon in the background there? Is
Yeah, I do.
that the moon? Sure is. Now this is fucking freaky. I have never noticed the moon in this picture before.
Yeah. The moon's there. The moon's behind the two of swords.
That's freaky, man. I have never noticed that before.
Wow.
Has that always been there?
Yeah, it must have like. Oh.
That's freaky.
You know what's interesting about the chariot is you were talking about there's what Luna and the other one.
Rahu.
Yeah. So Luna is probably the white up front, and Rahu's the shadow in the back, and there's the the black and white on the chariot.
Mhm.
So Dan said something very interesting right there, and it wasn't my intention to ignore him and not respond, but he was talking about the sphinxes on the chariot, how there's one black and one white, and they might represent the two moons, Rahu and Luna, or maybe the relationship between Rahu and the sun. But anyways, that was a great observation, Dan, and I promise I wasn't ignoring you. I was just too engrossed in my own thoughts trying to read these cards. But I promise next time I'll try to pay more attention to you.
The moon's in the two of swords too.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's that moon, there's the crescent moon. There are two
Yeah.
moons here. This is Luna,
Yeah.
and then there's this crescent moon over here. What the fuck, man? I
Well,
why why have I never seen this before?
all right. So
This
in
moon.
that one right there, the two of swords. If you were going to show something invisible, you'd have to use something as a backdrop. Do you know what I mean? So the crescent moon is to show the invisible moon. You know what I mean?
Right, right. You see, man, there's something here, and I'm just not getting it. I think I got it. Okay, that originally the moon, Luna, the one that we see at night, the one that we see, was brought in, and it was used strategically against people.
Yep.
And and then this is based on readings I've done on the moon before, that there are four races that are in control, the four kings that were on the moon. So
Yeah.
they have a military, a military there that's there to guard the moon. And I think they turned it off. I think they turned off the moon's negative influences and have replaced it with more positive spiritual energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, our last
Wow.
reading about the moon.
I'm just blown away by I've never seen these. I always just thought it was like a blotches in the sky or something.
Yeah.
That is the moon. And this is they're different phases too. This one is waxing and this one is waning,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, our last reading on the moon had all military. It had the remember it had the king in it, the emperor.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah. The emperor was here that represented all four
all
kings.
four of them. Yeah.
I'm just kind of freaked out by the two swords and the 8 of swords with that moon we're asking about. But this is, for some reason, we asked about how all 4 bodies were involved, but for some reason the universe wanted to tell us about the moon.
Yeah.
All right, because this is all about the moon. There's nothing here about the sun, the earth, something really important with that object that we think is the moon. That's a critical point here.